In the heart of a secluded African village, flanked by dense mangroves and kissed by the sunlit shores of a serene bay, whispers of an eerie legend drifted through the swaying palms. The tale was as old as the village itself, speaking of two entities, neither fully human nor wholly of the sea. They were known simply as the twins, the mermaid sisters born under a moonless sky. From their infancy, the twins, Amara and Layla, were the center of the village's cautious gaze. Their mother, a revered fisherwoman, had once sung of catching a glimpse of the sea god in the flesh, a vision that had blessed her with these enigmatic daughters. With skin the color of polished mahogany and hair that cascaded down their backs like the waterfall at the edge of the world, they were mesmerizing to behold. As they grew, so did their peculiarities. The girls spoke to the ocean, their melodious voices carrying over the waters in a symphony of unknown languages. They swam with a grace that belied their age, diving deep and surfacing only when the moon painted silver streaks across the black canvas of the night. The villagers kept a respectful distance, yet their fascination bred fear. Tales of the twins' communion with the sea spirits were common. Fishermen spoke of nets filled to bursting when the girls whispered to the waves, yet they also told of storms that brewed suddenly, fierce and unyielding, as if the ocean itself were angered. On the eve of their 16th birthday, the village chief called for a meeting. The dusty clearing where they gathered was filled with the scent of frangipani and nervous anticipation. Old Nia, the village elder, took the floor first, her voice steady despite the tremble of her hands. "We all know why we are here," she began, her eyes sweeping over the gathered crowd. "The twins, Amara and Layla, are not like us. They belong to the sea, to the mysteries it holds. We must decide how to live with this truth." Murmurs of agreement fluttered through the air like captive birds seeking release. Yet, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows over the faces of the villagers, no consensus could be reached. The fear of offending the sea god, of bringing his wrath upon their heads, was palpable. The twins, aware of their difference but pained by their isolation, found solace in the lapping waves at their doorstep. They spoke little of their feelings, but the sea knew their hearts as well as they knew its tides. As the village meeting dispersed, the chief approached the girls' humble abode by the shore. The door creaked as he pushed it open, revealing the twins sitting cross-legged on the floor, their eyes reflecting the moonlight like facets of a precious stone. "You are of this village, yet you belong to the world beyond," the chief said, his voice heavy with unspoken fears. "What say you? How do we coexist?" Amara, the bolder of the two, rose to her feet. Her voice was calm, infused with the cool mist of the ocean. "We will show you. Let us lead tomorrow's fishing. Trust in our communion with the sea." Reluctantly, the chief nodded, his decision born out of desperation more than faith. As he left, the sound of the twins' harmonious laughter mingled with the whisper of the waves, a haunting melody that promised either salvation or doom for the village nestled by the sea. Under the waxing moon, the air thick with the scent of brine and anticipation, the village awoke to an unusual silence. A blanket of fog had descended upon the coast, cloaking everything in a soft, enigmatic haze. Amara and Layla stood by the water's edge, their silhouettes blurred and mystical as they prepared to fulfill the promise made to their chief. The fishermen, clad in vibrant wraps and carrying nets mended by time and tide, gathered around the twins. Their faces bore expressions of wary curiosity, their eyes darting between the opaque waters and the enigmatic sisters. None spoke. The sea itself seemed to hush in reverence, or perhaps in warning. With a fluid motion that mirrored the swaying of the seagrass, Layla stepped forward. She dipped a hand into the cold water, sending ripples across the glassy surface. Amara joined her, and together they began a low hum, a sound so pure and deep it resonated in the chests of all who heard it. The fog began to swirl, dancing to the tune of their voices, and as the twins' song grew in strength, the waters stirred. From the depths, shadows moved, silver flashes of fish darting, drawn to the surface as if summoned by an invisible force. Elders and children alike peered from behind the woven reeds of their homes, their hearts pounding with a mixture of dread and awe. The sea was alive in a way they had never seen, pulsating with life, guided by the melody of the twins. As the first nets were cast, the catch was immediate and bountiful. Fish of every shape and size leapt from the water, as though eager to be part of the magic the sisters wove. Even the oldest of the fishermen, whose skin bore the creases of many suns and many storms, let out a low whistle of disbelief. "Look at them, working their spirits into the sea," murmured one fisherman to another, his voice a blend of respect and residual fear. Amara turned her gaze to the shore, her eyes catching those of the villagers. She smiled, a simple curve of lips, yet loaded with unspoken stories. Beside her, Layla continued her chant, her voice now a beacon calling the village to witness this union of land and sea. As the sun climbed, golden and bold against a clearing sky, the twins led the boats further along the coast, to waters unexplored by those who plied these parts. Here the sea was deeper, bluer, almost otherworldly. They stopped, and with a gesture from Amara, all oars rested. "This place holds more than just fish," Layla's voice carried over the water, her tone imbued with the mysteries of the deep. "Watch." What happened next would later be recounted in hushed tones around countless firesides. The water around the boats began to glow, phosphorescence igniting like underwater stars. Shapes formed in the glowing depths, spirits of the water, some whispered. Guardians of the deep, said others. For hours the villagers fished, their boats heavy with the sea's bounty, their hearts lightened by a spectacle they barely understood. The twins, their role as mediators between the two worlds affirmed, sang on. Their voices, once feared, now served as a bridge, a link between the known and the unknown, the seen and the unseen. As the expedition neared its end, the sun poised to dip below the horizon. No conclusions were drawn, no words of finality spoken. The villagers returned, their boats laden, their minds teeming with questions that fluttered like captured birds against the cages of their thoughts. The twins, their duty for the day fulfilled, retreated to the shadowed safety of their seaside home, leaving the village to ponder the enigma of their existence and the vast mysterious ocean they called kin. The dawn greeted the village with a sky painted in strokes of orange and purple, colors vibrant as the blossoms of the flame tree. In the aftermath of the unprecedented catch and the unearthly spectacle at sea, a subtle shift wove through the hearts of the villagers. The day's work began under the gaze of the watchful sun, its rays casting long shadows on paths beaten smooth by generations. Amara and Layla, cloaked in the respect and wariness of their people, walked with a grace that belied the earth beneath their feet, their presence a fluid reminder of the untamed ocean. They passed the homes of fishermen, their nets draped like garlands to dry, sparking whispers that fluttered from lip to lip like startled sparrows. As the morning progressed, a distant drumming summoned the village to the edge of the bay. Here, on the sands that bore the imprint of many tides, stood the village's drummer, his instrument alive under the quicksilver touch of his hands. The rhythm was a summoning, an ancient call woven into the very fabric of the village's history. Amara and Layla arrived, their eyes reflecting the deep blue of the sea, their steps synchronized with the heartbeat of the drum. Around them, the villagers formed a crescent, their faces a tapestry of emotion, hope, curiosity, fear, and awe mingling without distinction. Today, we embrace the gift of the twins, but also heed the lessons of the ancestors, declared the village seer, her voice strong against the drum's fading echoes. She moved with purpose towards the water's edge, her hands raised to the sky, then pointed to the sea, tracing the lineage of their people back to the waters from which they believed life sprang. Amara stepped forward, her voice weaving into the fabric of the morning. The sea does not give without reason, nor does it take without cause. We are of it, and it is of us. Let us learn not just to take, but to listen. With these words, she and Layla began to sing, not the haunting melodies of the day before, but a softer tune, a lullaby that seemed to rock the waves themselves. The villagers, each caught in the web of the melody, watched as the tide gently rolled in, depositing at their feet treasures from the deep, shells of iridescent hues, smooth driftwood, and stones polished by years of caresses from the water. Children scampered along the tide line, their laughter a counterpoint to the twins' song, collecting the ocean's offerings. Their elders watched, a dawning respect in their eyes as they began to understand the deeper bond the twins shared with the sea, a bond not of dominion, but of harmony and mutual respect. As the day wore on, the villagers engaged in a feast, the fruits of the sea and the land mingling on shared platters. Stories of old were exchanged, tales of sea gods, of spirits that dwelled beneath the waves, and of the ancestors who respected these mighty beings. The twins, once the subjects of hushed whispers, now sat among their people. They shared stories of the underwater realms they saw in their dreams, of the creatures that whispered to the moon, and of the currents that mapped the secrets of the ocean floor. As the sun set, casting the world in hues of gold and amber, the village found itself enveloped in a new understanding. The boundary between land and sea, once marked by fear and mystery, blurred into a meeting place where respect and wonder walked hand in hand. The night closed in, the stars mirroring the phosphorescence of the sea that night before. Silence fell, but it was a silence filled with the murmur of the ocean, a constant reminder of the cycle of giving and receiving, of the ebb and flow of life itself. The twins, their song now a mere whisper, retreated once more to their home by the sea, leaving their village to contemplate the vast living tapestry of which they were all a part. With the crescent moon presiding over the village like a silent guardian, the cool night air carried a sense of calm anticipation. The villagers had woven the events of the day into the tapestry of their collective memory, each moment a thread shimmering with newfound significance. In the gentle quiet of the pre-dawn, the twins, Amara and Layla, ventured to the outskirts of the village. Here, where the land whispered secrets to the sea, they knelt upon the cool sand, their hands buried in its grainy depths, their minds attuned to the rhythmic breathing of the waves. The first light of dawn painted the horizon in pale hues of lavender and rose, signaling the arrival of the village fisherfolk with their woven baskets and sturdy rods. The twins, sensing their approach, stood and turned to face the new day, their expressions serene, as if they had divined the path the sun would take across the sky. "Today we teach," Amara announced to the gathering crowd, her voice clear and resonant. Layla nodded in agreement, her gaze sweeping over the familiar faces, each reflecting a mixture of respect and curiosity. Together, they led the villagers down to the water's edge, where the ocean caressed the land with foamy fingers. Amara picked up a conch shell, its spiral perfection a testament to the ocean's meticulous craft. She held it aloft, catching the first rays of the sun. "This shell," she began, "like each of us tells a story. Listen to its whisper and you will hear the ocean." One by one, the villagers listened to the shell, their eyes widening with wonder as the sound of the sea echoed in its hollows. Layla then took the shell, filling it with water and allowing it to trickle back into the ocean. "As this water returns to its source, so must we learn to give back to that which sustains us," she explained, her words floating over the crowd like leaves on a breeze. The day unfolded under the watchful eyes of the elders, who saw in these lessons a return to the old ways, when the harmony between land and sea was understood and revered. The twins demonstrated the art of reading the tides, of understanding the language of the waves, a skill that had been lost to many through the years. The fisherfolk, guided by the twins' teachings, began to mend their nets with greater care, interweaving new fibers with old, a metaphor for the village itself, old traditions melded with new understanding. Children gathered around Layla as she crafted figures from the driftwood and shells, each creation a story of sea and shore. As the sun reached its zenith, a feast was prepared by the water. Fish grilled over open flames, seasoned with herbs that the villagers gathered from the edges of the forest, provided a feast that nourished body and soul. The meal was shared communally, reinforcing the bonds that had been strengthened by the day's lessons. As evening approached, the twins led the villagers back to the water's edge. Together, they watched the sun's descent, a fiery orb sinking into the embrace of the ocean. The sky turned from blue to gold to the deep purple of twilight, and as stars began to prick the evening sky, the twins spoke of the constellations, navigational guides that had led their ancestors across vast and open waters. Night settled over the village with a blanket of peace. The sound of the waves, now a familiar lullaby, promised that the teachings of this day would ripple through generations like waves upon the shore. The twins, their role as both part of the village and its bridge to the mysteries of the sea affirmed, retreated to their cottage by the water, their hearts full, their spirits intertwined with the endless dance of the ocean. As the moon carved silver paths across the dark velvet of the night sky, the village settled into a rhythm as ancient as the land itself. In the tranquil hours before the first cock's crow, a subtle awakening stirred the slumbering earth, an unseen force pulsing through the undercurrents of the village life. Amara and Layla, under the cover of night, slipped away from their seaside haven, drawn by the call of the deep. The soft sands under their feet and the gentle caress of the ocean breeze guided them to a secluded cove, a place seldom visited by the villagers, where the cliffs met the ocean's embrace. Here, the waves whispered secrets, their voices rising and falling with the tide. The twins stood at the water's edge, their hands clasped together, their eyes closed in quiet communion. The sea, under the watchful eyes of the stars, revealed its hidden treasures in the form of bioluminescent creatures that danced beneath the surface, casting a glow that mirrored the celestial bodies above. As dawn approached, the twins returned to the village, their silhouettes ghostly against the pre-dawn light. Their arrival coincided with the stirring of the villagers, who emerged from their homes, greeted by a breeze that carried the fresh, salty scent of the ocean. That morning, as the village awoke fully to the day, an assembly was gathered by the elders' council. The twins, their presence as enigmatic as the moonlit tide, were requested to share their insights from the cove, a place of power and mystery in the village lore. Last night, under the guidance of the moon and the watchful stars, the sea opened its heart to us, Amara shared, her voice imbued with the awe of their nocturnal experience. It showed us that every creature, every ripple and wave is a verse in a poem written by the cosmos. Layla continued, the light beneath the waves, the dance of life that thrives in darkness, it speaks of balance and harmony. It teaches us that even in the unseen, there is beauty and purpose. Motivated by the twins' vivid recounting, the village's craftsmen and women decided to honor this new understanding with a festival, a celebration of the ocean's bounty and mysteries. Artisans began crafting decorations that mimicked the bioluminescent dance they had heard described. Carvers etched the forms of sea creatures into wood, while weavers dyed their cloths in deep blues and greens, echoing the colors of the deep sea. As the day progressed, preparations for the festival saw every hand busy, every heart lighter. The air buzzed with the energy of creation, each villager contributing to a tapestry that would tell their renewed kinship with the sea. When the festival night arrived, the entire village was transformed. Lanterns hung from the trees mimicked the stars above, and along the shore, torches burned with a gentle fire, their flames reflecting off the water and illuminating the beach in a golden glow. Music filled the air, rhythmic and pulsing with life. Drummers beat their drums in a tempo that echoed the heartbeat of the ocean, while dancers moved with the grace of the waves themselves. Amara and Layla, adorned in garments that flowed like water, led the dance, their bodies moving in an ancient rhythm that spoke of sea and wind. As the festival reached its peak, the twins led the villagers to the shoreline, where they released lanterns into the sky and boats laden with offerings into the water. This act of giving back to the ocean was both a thanks and a promise, a vow to maintain the balance and respect that had been rekindled. The night wore on, filled with laughter and song, a community united by the mysteries they shared and the heritage they revered. The festival would end, but the echoes of its joy, like the whispers of the ocean, would linger in the hearts of all, a melody sustained by the continuous dance of the waves against the shore. As the festival embers died to a soft glow, the village beneath the expansive sky returned to its serene pace, with the memories of the night's revelry still fresh in every heart. The morning sun, rising bold and clear, cast its light over the villagers, who now moved with a renewed sense of unity and purpose. Amara and Layla, their spirits intertwined with the rhythms of the land and sea, found themselves at the heart of the village's newfound harmony. Their daily interactions with the ocean deepened, each visit revealing layers of the sea's ancient wisdom, which they shared with anyone who wished to learn. On one such morning, with the tide unusually low and the sea calm as a millpond, the twins led a group of young learners to the tidal pools that were revealed along the shoreline. These natural aquariums, teeming with marine life, became classrooms where lessons on the delicate balance of ocean ecosystems unfolded. See how each creature has its place, how each life supports another, Amara explained, pointing to a starfish slowly making its way across the sandy floor. Just as we depend on the sea, these beings rely on each other for survival. Layla picked up a small, smooth pebble from the water, letting it catch the light. And just like this stone, smoothed over time by the ocean's embrace, our understanding and respect for nature must also evolve. The children listened, captivated by the twins' knowledge and the vivid tableau of life before them. They learned to identify various sea creatures and understand their roles within the marine hierarchy, insights they took back to their homes, spreading knowledge like the seeds of a dandelion caught in the wind. As the sun climbed higher, sending shimmering paths across the water, a buzz of excitement stirred on the opposite end of the village. A boat, larger than any that the villagers owned, was spotted approaching the bay. Its sails, bright against the blue sky, carried symbols unfamiliar to the villagers, sparking a flurry of speculation and curiosity. Amara and Layla felt the undercurrent of unrest that the sight of the strange vessel brought. They exchanged a glance, an unspoken agreement passing between them, and proceeded to the gathering crowd at the village square. The boat anchored, and from it descended a group of outsiders, their skins sun-kissed from long days at sea, their clothes richly adorned with the craftsmanship of a distant culture. The leader, a tall man with eyes like the stormy sea, stepped forward, his gaze sweeping over the assembled villagers. "We come in peace from a land beyond the great waters," he announced, his voice carrying over the whispers of the crowd. "We seek to learn from those who speak with the sea." Suspicion mingled with curiosity among the villagers. The chief, an elder who had seen many suns, stepped forward, his demeanor cautious yet open. "You are welcome here, as long as your intentions are as you say. We live by the laws of the land and sea, and peace is what we cherish most." As negotiations unfolded, Amara and Layla stood by, their presence a reassuring symbol of the village's ties to the sea. They watched the newcomers with careful eyes, ready to protect their home's traditions and secrets, yet open to the possibility of sharing their understanding with those who truly respected their way of life. The day turned to evening, and discussions continued under the shade of the baobab tree, where agreements had been made and disputes settled for generations. The newcomers shared tales of their homeland, where the sea was a wild, untamable force, and the villagers listened, finding common ground in the universal language of the ocean's might and mystery. As night fell, a feast was prepared to welcome the visitors, a spread of the village's finest offerings. The air was filled with the scent of roasting fish and the sound of laughter, as stories and songs were exchanged, weaving the threads of distant worlds into a single vibrant tapestry. The moon, ever a silent observer, cast its silver light over the gathering, a reminder of the enduring bond between all who live by the grace of the sea. The twins, their role as guardians and teachers affirmed by the day's events, joined in the celebration, their hearts content in the knowledge that the rhythm of the waves would continue to guide their people through the changing tides of time. As dawn broke, casting a golden glow over the village, the scent of the previous night's feast still lingered in the air, mingling with the fresh ocean breeze. The guests from the distant lands woke to the rhythmic sound of the waves, a soothing reminder of the sea's omnipresent nature. Amara and Layla, ever attuned to the needs of their community and the whispers of the ocean, met with the visitors at the shore. The beach, with its endless horizon and the rhythmic dance of the tide, served as the perfect backdrop for the exchange of knowledge and culture that was about to unfold. "Today, we share with you the dance of our ancestors," Layla explained, her voice as gentle as the morning tide. The villagers, adorned in vibrant fabrics that fluttered in the sea breeze, gathered around, forming a circle on the soft sand. The twins at the center began to move to the rhythm of a drum, their steps slow and deliberate. Each movement told a story of the sea, of calm waters and tempestuous storms, of the bounty it provided and the respect it demanded. The dance was hypnotic, drawing everyone into a shared experience of awe and reverence. The visitors watched, captivated by the fluidity of the dance and the deep connection it portrayed between the people and the marine world. The leader of the group, moved by the performance, stepped forward, his own feet beginning to mimic the steps of the twins. "This is how we celebrate the sea in our land," he shared, his movements becoming more confident as he adapted his own cultural dance into the rhythm set by the villagers. His dance spoke of the ocean as a challenging force, one that tested the strength and will of those who dared to navigate its depths. The integration of the two dances created a new form, a blend of traditions that celebrated the vastness and mystery of the sea in ways that transcended language and geography. Laughter and applause echoed across the beach as more villagers and visitors alike joined the dance, each adding their own interpretation and style. As the sun climbed higher, Amara took a conch shell and blew into it, sending a deep, resonant sound across the waters. "Let this be a call to all who hold the sea in their hearts," she declared. "May our respect for it guide us and our love for it unite us." The day continued with shared activities, each designed to deepen the understanding between the visitors and the villagers. Fishermen from both groups exchanged techniques and stories, marveling at the different ways the sea could be harnessed and honored. The visitors taught the villagers about navigation stars used in their distant homes, expanding their celestial maps. By the time the sun began to set, painting the sky in shades of orange and purple, a sense of mutual respect and camaraderie had woven itself among all present. They gathered once more on the beach, a feast laid out before them, featuring both local delicacies and exotic flavors brought by the visitors. As they ate, the stories flowed as freely as the wine. Tales of giant waves conquered, of long nights at sea, and of the mystical creatures that were said to dwell in the deepest parts of the ocean filled the air. The night ended with a final joint dance under the stars, a celebration of the day's shared experiences and the bonds formed. The moon shone brightly, its light reflecting off the calm waters, a silent witness to the unity and harmony achieved. With hearts full and spirits uplifted, the villagers and their guests retired to their dwellings, the sounds of the ocean singing them to sleep. The day had been one of learning and laughter, of dancing and dining, a true testament to the power of the sea to connect all who revered its depths. As the first rays of dawn stretched across the village, painting everything with a soft golden hue, the calm from the previous night's festivities still lingered. The sand, imprinted with countless footprints, bore witness to the union of cultures, a dance that had blended disparate traditions into a single joyous celebration. Amara and Layla woke to the familiar call of the ocean, its ceaseless murmur a comforting backdrop to their morning rituals. Today, they planned to introduce their new friends to the sacred groves along the coastline, where the elders said the spirits of the sea mingled with those of the earth. Gathering by the edge of the village, where the forest met the shore, the twins led the group along a narrow path dappled with sunlight that filtered through the dense canopy. The air here was thick with the scent of green leaves and salt, a testament to the life that thrived at this confluence of land and sea. "Hear the trees whisper to the waves," Layla said softly, her hand brushing against the bark of a gnarled baobab that stood sentinel over the path. "They tell stories of the winds and the waters, of the creatures that dwell in the deep." The visitors listened intently, their eyes wide with wonder as they touched the rough bark, feeling the pulse of the village's ancient guardians. Each tree, each stone along the path seemed to hold a secret, a piece of the vast puzzle that was the natural world. At a clearing by the sea, the group stopped. The twins gestured towards the horizon, where the ocean met the sky in a perfect line, unmarred by ships or storms. "This is where we come to understand the balance of all things," Amara explained. "The horizon is not a boundary, but a promise of infinity, of depths unexplored and heights unattained." The leader of the visitors, his face reflecting the serenity of the scene, shared a story of his own people's reverence for the horizon, where they believed the spirits of their ancestors dwelled, watching over them. The parallels in belief and reverence drew the group closer, weaving their spirits together like the intricate braids of a rope. To mark the moment, the twins suggested creating a symbol of their shared respect for nature, a totem of sorts, crafted from driftwood and adorned with offerings from both lands. Each person added something to the totem, a shell, a stone, a woven band, or a carved figure, each element a testament to their diverse backgrounds yet unified intentions. As they worked, the elders of the village, who had followed at a distance, nodded in approval. They saw in these acts a renewal of the old ways, a reaffirmation of the bonds between all creatures and the natural forces that governed them. When the totem stood complete, nestled among the trees but facing the sea, the group stepped back. The creation was humble yet powerful, a mosaic of the world's beauty and mystery. It stood as a guardian of the stories shared and the friendships forged. The sun was high in the sky when they returned to the village, the path back marked by laughter and light-hearted debates about the mysteries of the sea and the legends of the deep. The visitors, now no longer strangers but kin, spoke of extending their stay, eager to delve deeper into the wisdom the village and its surroundings offered. As the day faded into evening, preparations began for another night of celebration. This time, the festival would honor the spirits of the land as much as those of the sea, a full embrace of the world's natural harmony. Lanterns were lit, fires kindled, and music summoned everyone to the beach once more. Under the canopy of stars, the festival pulsed with life. Dances were shared, stories retold, and the laughter mingled with the crackle of fires and the rhythmic beat of drums. The ocean, a constant in their lives, lapped at the shore, its waves a soothing counterpoint to the fervor of the celebration. The moon, ever watchful, cast its glow over the revelers, its light a silent benediction over the bonds formed and the understanding deepened. As the night wore on, the echoes of the festival, the songs, the stories, the drum beats, seemed to travel across the waves, a message of peace and unity sent adrift on the infinite sea. With the new day came a soft, caressing breeze that played among the palm fronds, carrying with it the delicate scents of sea salt and blooming hibiscus. The village awoke to the gentle hum of the ocean, a reminder of the previous night's unity and the lingering joy of shared celebrations. Amara and Layla, refreshed by the peaceful rest that followed heartfelt festivities, began their morning by visiting the sacred groves once more. With them, they brought the visiting leader and a few of his trusted companions, intent on showing them the deeper spiritual practices of their culture. In the cool shade provided by the ancient trees, the twins spoke of the spiritual connection between their people and the natural world. They taught their guests the importance of silent meditation, of listening to the subtle language of the earth and sea. Sitting in a circle, surrounded by the whispering leaves and the distant call of the ocean, each person closed their eyes and focused on the sounds and sensations that enveloped them. "The earth speaks to those who listen," Amara whispered, her voice barely above the rustle of the leaves. "Feel the pulse of the land, the rhythm of the waves. These are the beats of the world's heart." As the group meditated, the barrier between them and the natural world thinned, a sense of profound connection setting deep roots within their spirits. The visitors, unfamiliar with such practices, felt a stirring within, an awakening to a new understanding of their place within the vast web of life. When the meditation ended, the visitors expressed their gratitude, their faces alight with the serenity that comes from a deep spiritual encounter. They shared that back in their lands, meditation was often practiced, but rarely connected so directly with the natural world. Inspired by this exchange of knowledge and spiritual practices, the twins proposed a day of environmental stewardship activities. The visitors eagerly agreed, keen to give back to the land that had offered them so much. Together they spent the day tending to the village's natural spaces, clearing debris from the beaches, planting native flora to help stabilize the dunes, and even constructing small shelters for the wildlife. As the sun began its descent, casting long shadows and bathing the village in golden light, the group gathered at the shore. Here, they installed the last of the shelters, a symbolic act of protection for the creatures of the land as much as for those of the sea. The evening brought another gathering, this time more reflective and subdued than the festive nights before. The community, along with their guests, shared stories of their day's work, each narrative a thread in the rich tapestry of their collective endeavor. Songs were sung, but tonight they were softer, the melodies reflective and full of the nuances of their shared experiences. The drum beats were slower, mirroring the heartbeat of the earth, a rhythmic reminder of the day's lessons in connectivity and care. As twilight deepened, turning the sky to shades of indigo and gray, lanterns were lit along the beach, casting a warm glow that flickered like fireflies against the night. The group sat around a large bonfire, the flames crackling in the cool night air, their faces illuminated by the firelight. One of the visitors, moved by the day's experiences, began a soft chant in his native language, a beautiful lilting melody that spoke of wind, water, and the earth. One by one, the villagers joined in, their voices blending in a harmonious layering of sounds, a beautiful interweaving of cultures and nature. The moon, a constant companion, watched over them, its light a gentle reminder of the enduring rhythms of the earth and the unifying power of shared respect and love for the natural world. The night progressed, filled with music and soft laughter, as the waves continued their timeless song, a soothing backdrop to the unity and peace that the village now embraced. As the first light of dawn tinted the eastern sky with hues of pink and lavender, the village stirred from a night of peaceful reflections and soft melodies. The day was met with a sense of completion, a chapter drawing to a gentle close as the village and its visitors prepared to honor their time together with a final ceremony. Amara and Layla, along with the village elders, had planned a farewell that would weave the threads of their experiences into a lasting bond. As the community gathered by the shoreline, where the land and sea met in an eternal embrace, the air was thick with the anticipation of a poignant farewell. The visitors, now no longer strangers but part of the village's extended kin, stood hand in hand with their hosts. The beach was lined with boats decorated with flowers and vibrant fabrics, each vessel ready to carry part of the collective spirit out onto the water. We gather today not just to say goodbye, but to affirm the ties that now bind us across waters and lands. The chief spoke, his voice resonant with the weight of the moment. We are united by the sea, by the earth under our feet, and by the sky above us. These elements we share, no matter where we stand. Amara and Layla led the procession, each step measured and solemn as they approached the largest boat. This vessel carried a great net filled with offerings from both the villagers and their guests, woven crafts, painted stones, and bottles containing messages of hope and friendship. To the sea, we return these gifts, Layla announced, her voice steady and clear. May they carry our intentions, our dreams, and our spirits to all corners of the world. With a collective effort, the net was lowered into the water, the boat then guided by strong arms rowing in harmony. The villagers and visitors alike watched as it drifted away, carried by the gentle currents, a symbol of their shared journey and interconnected lives. As the boat became a speck on the horizon, the twins began to sing. Their voices, mingled with the soft morning breeze, created a melody that seemed to rise and fall with the waves. Others joined in, the song growing stronger, carried across the village and beyond, a message of unity and peace. Following the song, each person present took a turn to speak, sharing what they had learned and how they had been changed by the days spent together. Tears were shed, laughter rang out, and hugs were exchanged, each a testament to the profound impact of their shared experiences. As the ceremony came to an end, the visitors prepared to depart, their boats laden with provisions and hearts full of memories. Farewells were said, with promises to return or to host their new friends in their own distant lands. The twins stood at the water's edge, watching as the boats receded into the distance. They felt a deep satisfaction, knowing that the seeds of understanding and respect they had planted would continue to grow, nurtured by the memories of this time together. The sun climbed higher, casting a golden glow over the village, which now seemed a little bigger, its heart a little fuller. The day progressed with the usual rhythm of village life, but there was a new layer to the familiar sounds, a whisper of distant places, a hint of new friendships, and a stronger connection to the vast, mysterious world beyond their shores. As night fell, the village was quiet, the stars overhead bright and clear. Amara and Layla returned to their cottage by the sea, their hearts content, knowing that the tides of time would bring more challenges, more visitors, and more opportunities to share and learn. But for now, they listened to the gentle lapping of the waves, each crest and trough a reminder of the eternal dance of the earth and sea, of endings and beginnings, and of the continuous cycle of life and connection.